Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. Today we're in the kitchen with Across the Fence, and to begin we hope you had a very happy 4th of July with family and friends. Our chefs took some time from the festivities to prepare 14 family favorite recipes for us this afternoon. Beside me are Carolyn Peak from Williamstown and Deb Plumley and Lynn Jarvis, both from South Hero. Before we enjoy what we have prepared for us, or what they have prepared for us, we want to highlight the winner of last month's free drawing for the Gluten and Dairy-Free Recipes Cookbook. He's Robert Parker of Norwich, Vermont. Congratulations, Robert. You'll be receiving your cookbook by mail any day now. We also want to take a moment to acknowledge several other loyal viewers, including Lise Sharon of Berkshire, Candace Janetti from Hinsdale, New Hampshire, and Edie McLaughlin from Underhill. In Jonesville, Edith Slayton, who's just become a subscription member, and Edla Wendell from Virgins. We thank each of you and the thousands more who make time for Across the Fence each day. This month's lucky viewer will win the 214-page cookbook, The Cooks of Hackett's Orchard. It has more than 300 recipes from some of the best cooks in the Champlain Islands. It was put together to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Ron and Celia's ownership of the orchard and the many services they've provided over the years. And Deb Plumley is their daughter, and she has prepared some of her favorite recipes from the cookbook for us. But first, Deb, tell us a little bit about how the orchard's looking this season.
It is looking fabulous. We had wonderful weather for pollination, and you need that to give a good kickstart to the apple season.
Great.
So 2018 is looking good, and fingers crossed we will have our fabulous peaches this year.
Nice.
Too.
Well, we'll be up.
Fabulous.
Thanks,
Can't wait
Deb.
to see you. So we have 4 generations at the orchard, and getting together to share a meal is always a fun time. And the Orchard Cookbook that we're giving away today is just chock full of family favorite recipes. Now, I think Lynn is going to find the first 2 recipes from the cookbook very appealing. And I want to start with this fresh tomato soup that was a family favorite from Bonnie Masha of South Burlington, Vermont. And Bonnie is not only a fabulous cook, but an excellent gardener as well. And this tomato soup is a great way to use up some of that bounty. It's simple to make. It's chopped onion and celery that is cooked, and then you thicken the soup with a little bit of tomato paste, flour, cook in your chicken broth and tomatoes, and in about 40 minutes you've got a fabulous homemade tomato soup. And I usually add a little bit of milk to mine because I like mine extra creamy. Now, what do you pair with tomato soup but grilled cheese sandwiches? And these are not everyday average grilled cheese sandwiches. These triple-decker lovelies come to us from Alburgh, Vermont. They're from the kitchen of Lila Hanfield, who is also Ron and Celia's great-granddaughter. And Lila is a very good cook and a good ball player, too. So you start with a nice sourdough bread. You make your traditional grilled cheese with your favorite cheese in between the bread. When one side is toasted, you flip it, add another layer of cheese and bread, and you just keep flipping and toasting till all the bread is nice and golden brown. So thank you, Lila, for sending in that. Now I'm just going to set this aside because I also want to share a great salad with the viewers today. It would not be a meal at Hackett's if you didn't have something that included apples. This wild rice salad has chunks of celery and apples. You mix it in with cooked wild rice, add a nice dressing, you can see how simple this is, of red wine vinegar, olive oil, mustard, salt, and pepper, and just stir it all, and then top with some toasted walnuts. And this is going to be a great addition to any summertime meal. So I hope you folks give this one a try. Now my last recipe is not in the cookbook, but it's a viewer recipe that was sent in by Eileen Wadley of Danville, Quebec. And with strawberry season upon us, this is perfect. It's Eileen's recipe for strawberry butter tarts. You make a shortbread that you press in the bottom of your pan. You folks are going to let that cook, remove it from the oven, and then add your filling, which are chopped strawberries, melted butter, brown sugar, eggs, and some flour. Let that all cook, and you've got these wonderful strawberry tarts, just perfect for the kickoff of strawberry season. And Carolyn, I can see that you have some family favorites to share, especially when I see your crock pot. I know it's going to be good eating.
Yes.
So I'll let you get to it.
Okay. Well, we just got back from vacation time on Prince Edward Island, and we have a lot of friends up there. So what I did was I went to a couple of them, and I said, would you please give me some family favorite recipes of yours? So that's what I have. These are, I guess you'd call them Canadian recipes. The first one is this one right here. It is a pineapple delight, and I was going through one of Joanne White's cookbooks, and in it there was a cutout piece from a magazine that had this recipe, and I just thought it sounded delicious. It's got you can either use graham cracker crumbs or the vanilla wafers, and then it's butter and confectioner sugar. It has 2 unbeaten eggs in it, but since it does not get cooked, I decided maybe it was better to use those pasteurized eggs that you can get in the store, so you might want to keep that in mind. And then it's got whipping cream and a large can of crushed pineapple. Put it together, put it in the refrigerator, you're all set. Now also from Joanne is this one that is chocolate marshmallow bars. Now, of course, if it's for me, it's got to be chocolate. And this was from a recipe of her grandmother's. Her grandmother was from Scotland and learned how to cook in some of the big castles over there. They then moved to Canada, and they were living on the wrong side of the river. But the lady started a very, very successful catering business. And even though they lived on the wrong side of the river, the people on the right side of the river asked her to do a lot of their catering. So it's very easy. It's just, I cut up the marshmallows because that's what the recipe said, but I think if you were to go with just the mini marshmallows, that would work just as well. It also has red cherries. It calls for red and green cherries. I couldn't find green ones this time of year, but you just kind of mix everything together and press it into a pan. And again, this one goes in the refrigerator because it is not cooked at all. Now from Louise Peters, an older lady up there who also is in the campground that we go to, I have simple, sweet, and sour meatballs. And they're simple because you just kind of dump everything in together. I've used my crock pot to keep them warm. You might want to do them in a large pan and cook it in the oven. But you've got all these nice, yummy meatballs, and it's just the Hamburg. You make meatballs of it, put it in the pan. You have brown sugar, vinegar, water, ketchup, cornstarch, and then any other spices that you might like. And you just put those all together and just let them cook. And I had to use my crock pot because that's what I'm known for. My final one is a recipe. Oh, excuse me, I've got one more here. Again, from Louise Peters. This has got haddock and soup, cream of mushroom soup, and milk, chopped onion, some lemon juice. You just pour all of that over the fish, cook it, and you're all set. Lastly, from Greta Crandall from Peru, Vermont, if you like rhubarb, get this recipe. It is so good. And it takes the rhubarb, sugar, the usual things, and then she's got coconut, raisins, and chopped walnuts in it. So be sure that you get these recipes.
It looks good.
It is good.
Well, thank you, Carolyn. Well, I'm going to begin with a recipe that I've been doing at least 50 years. I first started making it for my roommates when I was at Emerson College in Boston, and it's my tomato stroganoff. We all really enjoyed it. Now, it's very easy to make because it's just a blend of mushrooms, onions, tomatoes, some sour cream, and hamburger. And I'm going to start putting it over my chow mein noodles right here. But you simmer it all together till the flavors mix and match. Now, you could also serve this over rice, potatoes, baked or mashed. But we were always very fond of the chow mein noodles because we liked the crunch of the noodles. So this brings back a lot of memories for me during those days down at Emerson College. Now, my friend over in Stowe, Karen Gottlieb, has a salad recipe that she thought would be perfect with our stroganoff. So I made it for you today, and here it is. It's her black bean, orange, and cucumber salad. She got the recipe more than 25 years ago for a Woman's Day magazine, so it was a keeper for her. And it's easy to make and very tasty. To those three main ingredients, you add some olive oil, lemon juice, and chopped onion. It's not only an attractive salad, but a nice complement for many a meal, including our stroganoff. So let's put some right up here. Now, isn't that a nice color contrast to go with our stroganoff and our salad? And if the cameraman would get a close-up of this, I'd appreciate it. There you go. Thank you very much. A beautiful little salad. Now, this next recipe I've made for many, many years here in the kitchen, and it's one of my favorites. And I think it's so good it's worth repeating. And this is another recipe that I've made, and it's famous by the made famous by the Dog Team Tavern down in New Haven that burned to the ground in 2016. And I'll always remember the delicious meals we had there, and especially these sticky buns. The restaurant may be gone, but the sticky buns carry on the tradition. They do take some time to make, but it's well worth the effort. Now, let me move these up here so that you can get a look at them. Now, the base for the sticky buns is, believe it or not, hot mashed potato, to which you add sugar, butter, eggs, flour, and yeast. And once the dough is ready, roll it out so that it spreads nicely, and you sprinkle it with brown sugar, some chopped walnuts and cinnamon, and you roll it up like a jelly roll, and then you put it in the oven at 350 for about 25 minutes, and here you go. Now, doesn't that look delicious? Now, this reminds me that the Champlain Valley Fair comes up next month, and there's a booth in the grandstand that sells these sticky buns, but I always say there's nothing better than homemade. Now, my next recipe comes from a viewer. She's a loyal viewer down in Rutland, and her name is Diane Belden, and it's for her cherry dump cake. And what I like about this is because it combines a flavor combination that I've never used before: crushed pineapple and cherries, and it's so good in a snap to make. And if you don't know what a dump cake is, it's just what it says in this particular recipe. Into your pan that you have here, you dump your cherries, then some crushed pineapple. Over that, you put your white cake mix, and then some butter, melted butter, and finally you put on the chopped walnuts and put it in the oven and bake it, and there you go. You're all set, and as simple as that. And my last recipe, and I'm going to have Judy come in now, because when we did our show last month, we talked about family favorite recipes, and Judy said, deviled eggs.
It's all about the deviled eggs.
So this recipe, Judy, I know you enjoyed because
there's a piece missing.
One is missing, yes.
Well, it's my job, Lynn.
And anyway, these are called bacon cheddar deviled eggs. And in here, there's a chopped bacon, shredded cheddar, a little honey mustard, and then, of course, a little mayonnaise. Now, what did you think of them?
They were delicious.
Good,
delicious.
Good. I
Thank
hope
you so much.
You viewers will give them a try.
I highly recommend them. That's wonderful. Well, what a super collection of recipes. We want to thank Carolyn and Deb for all that you do for us every month. And now, as always, there are a couple of different ways you can get the recipes. You can go online to the Across the Fence website, go to uvm.edu/extension. And you'll find the recipes on the left-hand side of the web page, including the recipe archive. To get the recipes by mail, send $2 and a stamped, self-addressed business-size envelope to Family Favorite Recipes, Box 188, South Hero, Vermont 05486. And please remember to include $2 and a stamped, self-addressed envelope to the address on your screen. Your envelope will be used in the free drawing for the Hackett's Orchard Cookbook. And even if you're not ordering today, you can use the address to be a part of the drawing. To enter, just send along your name and address. Good luck to all of you. Now we'll be back in the kitchen with Across the Fence on August 2nd with recipes featuring locally grown produce, and I'm guessing that there will be some delicious blueberries by then. Thanks to all of you for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. See you again next time on Across the Fence.